Hey everyone, welcome to This One's for the Students, episode 9. And this episode is titled Achieving Greatness Just Like Batman. And I know there are some that would say Batman is not a real superhero. But you know what? They're wrong. But that debate could go on and on. However, whatever you think of Batman, superhero or not, he was a man of action, and he chose to defend his crime-ridden and corrupted city no matter how much he was hated by people. And that's what I want to focus on this episode, and that's putting your faith into action. Batman was a man of action. And lately we've seen all around us, and we've seen in the news, all about racial injustice. And yes, racism does exist, but I believe the best way for Christians to live and combat evil in this world is to model our life after Jesus Christ. The best way to fight evil and Satan is to live like Jesus. In other words, putting our faith as believers into action. And that means serving others. So living like Jesus and doing that through service. There's a quote from the latest Batman movie series that has kind of always stuck with me, and it goes like this. It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. So let me try that again in my best Batman impression.
It's not who I am underneath, but it's what I do that defines me.
That's the best I could do. Watch the movie, but I like the quote. And Batman knew that as Bruce Wayne, he was not a perfect person, but as a crime fighter, his actions protecting people spoke louder than his failings as a billionaire brat, as a person. Jesus had a similar and much more meaningful quote in Mark 10, verse 45. And it was like this. Even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. So Jesus was the ultimate superhero, for one, because he actually existed, and two, he could do great miracles, and he was God. So Jesus is saying, hey, I came not to be served, but to serve others. Jesus modeled true greatness and leadership by dying for us and bringing salvation to the whole world. We can achieve greatness and model ultimate leadership when we too bring the gospel to people in our own spheres of influences, in our own households, and our own communities. So what does this look like? What does it look like to serve others and to bring the gospel into our community? It's about loving God first, and then loving your neighbor. The first and second greatest commandment, right? The Apostle Paul spoke of submitting to one another out of respect for Christ. That's in Ephesians 5. So you see, our love for God can be played out through our care for our neighbor and people that are close to us. That's how we can show our love for God, by honoring him, by loving and serving others. Jesus modeled genuine love for his disciples when he washed their feet the night before he died. Check that out in John chapter 13. Immediately afterward, he said these famous words. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. So Jesus was washing his followers' feet, and he says you should do the same. That's true love. That's genuine service. So if Jesus washed the feet, that task then is not below any of us. Jesus was God. He says, hey, if I'm serving others and I'm even washing their feet, you should do the same as well as my follower. And that's really what true leadership is. It's about submitting. It's about humbling yourself for the Lord and serving Him by serving others. So here's my challenge to you. Are you ready to pick up a wash pan and a towel? As a Christ follower, Jesus expects us to submit to others in service. So be a superhero for your neighbor, for your community. In living for others, you model what Jesus did for all of us. Step up and step out to show how much you love people by washing their feet. Okay? So that's something I want to leave with you for encouragement, because, like I said, we are so surrounded now. We had COVID, quarantine, and COVID crisis, and there's so much negativity and hate spewed all over, all around us. And so, but don't forget, we can still do our part in a big way by showing the world that we love them and that we're Christ followers, and Jesus is the only real answer to any problem that's ever existed. It's not in laws or not anything that we can solve as man, right? So we want to show people that Jesus is the solution. So get out there and be a servant leader, and that is true leadership, and that will make you a true superhero. So serve the Lord, right? And remember to keep trusting in Jesus and stay cool this week, as I know it's hot. So I thank you guys. Thanks for showing up at youth group last week. And I hope to see you again soon. And I'll be praying for you and all that you guys are going through. All right? So take care.